In this problem, we have two mutually exclusive projects where the cash flows are given right here. Project A, investment 20,000, then we get all these cash flows. Project B, investment $24,000, and we get all the other cash flows. Mutually exclusive means we can accept either project A or project B or neither. We cannot accept them both. Part A is asking the payback period, which means how long it is going to take us to recoup our original investment. And company uses a cutoff of 2 years, which means projects that have a payback period longer than 2 years are not accepted. And in the case of mutually exclusive projects, if both projects are acceptable, then the project with the lower payback period will be accepted. In order to calculate in a brute force method the payback period, first we calculate running cash flow. Start with year 0 cash flow and add each year's cash flow to the running cash flow. Obviously we can copy and paste for B. For the payback period, we do need to find the year in which we go into positive. For project A, that year is 2. From that, we're going to have to deduct the extra we have at the end of that year, because in year 2, to recoup our investment, we only need 6,800, but we're going to get 8,300. So it's going to take a shorter amount of time to recoup that investment. So we're going to recoup 6,800 after the 82% of year 2. Project B, we go into positive in year 3 minus how much extra we have as a percent of year 3 cash flow. According to this, first of all, project A has a shorter payback period, so if any one of them is going to be selected, it's going to be project A. And since cutoff period is less than 2 years, we will select project A. If both of them had cutoffs, if both of them had payback periods less than 2 years, we still would have selected project A because it has lower payback. To calculate the net present value, there are 2 ways. One is brute force again. Calculate the present value of the cash flows. 1 plus the discount rate. Make sure you use the absolute argument to the power number of years you're discounting. Since I'm going to copy and paste this formula, by hitting F4, I'm making sure that column is fixed, $A. And copy and paste. NPV is simply sum of those present values. Again, this time project A is not acceptable even by itself because NPV rule says you do not select projects that have negative net present value, and project B has a positive net present value. So even by itself, we would have accepted that project. But since we're ranking 2 mutually exclusive projects, even if project A had a slightly positive net present value, we still would have picked project B. There is another way you could calculate NPV. Use the NPV function in Excel, but it doesn't do what we actually want. It calculates the present value of future cash flows. To get the NPV that we want, we need to add back the cost or deduct the cost. As you can see, same numbers. There is another way we could calculate it. I have produced a template to make these calculations. I'm going to add this as a attachment. Let's first copy the project A cash flows. This template allows you cash flows up to 100 periods. And let's paste those values. The cells that have a green background means they are inputs because you have green light to enter. Cost of capital is 15%. Length of project is 3 years. Payback cutoff is 2 years. Immediately we have our NPV. If we enter the payback period, payback year, in year 2, project A pays back, so payback period automatically calculated. We're not going to worry about discounted payback year yet. We will do that later. And for project B, let's calculate the cash flows. Let's copy the cash flows, paste them in, same NPV, but we know that you go into positive in year 3, so payback year is 2.01.